All right, everybody, welcome back to the KSR YouTube channel and another rainy day in Florida where we are going to try and get to work on the Cutlass this week. And it's already kind of late in the week and it's not looking good. Unfortunately, that we may have a pause this week. We'll have to see. I'm going to try and really get to this thing this afternoon, but I'm not sure I'm going to be able to. So let's get through the intro and I'll tell you what's up. All right, well, it is later Friday afternoon, still regular business hours, and you'll notice there is nobody here. Well, CJ and Eddie are up in Wisconsin at the Trans Am race, supporting Lee Saunders again. And I do have videos from pit race as well as Mid-Ohio that I need to edit. You know, they used to be kind of bleh videos in the past. Got in trouble with NASCAR for the one when they copyright claimed our Viper in-car footage, if you don't remember that from way back on the channel. But if you guys want to see those, let me know. Give me a little motivation to actually get them done. So we've got 2 race videos with the Viper. Both pretty interesting, at least from a racer's perspective. You know, obviously I enjoy some racing myself. But what ended up happening, I guess I have to tell you guys a little story. So what happened after Mid-Ohio, Eddie and I typically fly in and out of Columbus, Ohio. And, well, we flew Eddie to Detroit because the car was in Detroit. Eddie got the car ready. Lee flew into Detroit, drove the rig to Columbus, which is only, or actually Mansfield, but it's only 3.5 hours, I think, from Detroit. Got that all taken care of. Race went great until Sunday, which you'll have to see in the video if I do them. But our flight was basically, it gave us about 45 minutes after the race ended to get from the, we get the race done, get through tech, get Lee loaded up as quick as we can, or get the trailer as organized as we can and leave the last little bit for Lee to load up. Lee likes his trailer organized a very specific way, which totally understand because I'm the same way. But so we get him all taken care of, rush to the airport, get through security, get to our gate, probably 20 minutes before we're supposed to board. And there's no airplane there. Boarding time comes and goes and there's still no airplane there and nobody at the gate. So this was my second experience flying with Breeze Airways. Fairly new airline, but by looking up their, I did some Googling on them and they've got a pretty new fleet of airplanes. Everything seemed pretty good. Flight up was great, no problems, everything on time, great. Well, I think we were supposed to take off at like 7. And I think 8 o'clock we finally got, or maybe it was a little like quarter after 7, 7:30. Somebody finally came to the gate and said our plane had been turned around and flew back to Raleigh because of a cabin pressure problem. Obviously those aren't very good in a big plane. So plane turned around, they thought they were gonna be able to get it fixed, they didn't know for sure. Well, 10:30 they finally cancel flight. Can't get anything else booked to fly from Columbus to Jacksonville that night. So the next flight from Breeze out of Columbus was on Monday. It filled up pretty much instantly and we were trying to get booked on that one. Couldn't get it. Well, the next one after that was on Thursday. Well, we couldn't do that. So we went to the hotel, you got a hotel, took a shuttle to the hotel, searching for some kind of flight, found something in Cleveland. Cleveland's only 2 hours away, or maybe an hour and a half away. I think it was over 2 hours away. So we decided to rent a car Monday morning, drive to Cleveland. So we went to Cleveland, And as we are pulling in with the rental car, Monday afternoon, checking my email to, you know, check in for the flight, I have a bunch of emails from Frontier. It says our flight has been canceled. So 2 flights back to back canceled. And now we're getting home. And so the Breeze flight and the Frontier were both directs, one from Columbus, the other from Cleveland, right to Jacksonville. So that's a cheaper flight typically. But by this point, we're just like frustrated, aggravated. We're getting whatever we can get. So Eddie's looking, I'm looking. Eddie finds a Southwest flight, but then it disappears. So we're sitting in the rental car waiting to turn it back in, and we're kind of like, well, let's go to the Southwest counter and see what they can do. So we go there and she's like, yeah, there's a flight that leaves at like 10 o'clock, like you guys were looking at, but there's also one that leaves boards at 6:30. And we were at the airport at the ticket counter at like 10 to 6. We'd kind of taken our time, went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, thought we were still on board for our flight, you know, that evening. So we didn't get to the airport super early, kind of took a chill day. Well, we decide we're gonna try to make that early one. And she rushed us through the security line, took us right through the front, which was a huge help. And we were able to get to that Southwest flight, the earlier one, and get on board it to get back to Jacksonville. Now the problem with that one is it was not a direct. So we ended up getting back here to the shop about 1 o'clock Tuesday morning, kind of just wiped us out. So by the time we finally got to the shop Tuesday, spent some time looking through Lee's data, making a plan for Road America this weekend, because Eddie's got to go up and make changes to the car for Road America. So we did some looking on some flights, need to get that all planned out. Ended up sending CJ with him so that they could leave Wednesday night. Got up there, worked all day on the car Thursday, like long day to get it all prepared. Wrapped it up this morning because it's Friday today. Lee met them, or they went to the airport, or yeah, picked Lee up, back to our buddy that lives outside of Detroit, actually in Chelsea, Michigan, right across the street from the Chrysler Proving Grounds, which is kind of cool. You can find that on Google Maps. Huge facility. Like, I'd love to get in there. It seems like it'd be a lot of fun. But anyways, they're up there, and Ricky is in the back thrashing on Grant and Chuck's NC Miata. And now you might think I'm a jerk for not being back there helping him right now, but what he's doing literally is a one-person job. So he's basically buttoning up the transmission install with some zip ties, probably putting it on the ground by now, and is working on just going over the car and checking some nuts and bolts, changing the oils, because they hurt a head gasket because they reused their torque to yield bolts. So it hurt a head gasket. I ended up running up to the machine shop to pick up some stuff for other engines. So that kind of wrecked one of my mornings. Go up there, have their cylinder head skimmed to make sure it was still true, and it needed a decking. It was a little warped because it got hot when it got the head gasket. So we got all that taken care of. It's going back together. They leave tonight or tomorrow morning for a 12-hour race in Sebring that starts at 6 p.m. on Saturday, ends 6 a.m. on Sunday morning. I want to go racing with them, but I have my kids this week, which has been another fun adventure because my kids have had a summer camp this week. So they get dropped off for that at 9, and I'm usually here at the shop by 8 or 8:30. So I'm already coming in late. They get out of the camp at 4, so that's got me leaving earlier than normal. And then my younger two both have gymnastics at 2 different gyms. So go pick them up at 3:30, or leave here at 3:30, pick them up a little early to get my youngest to her gym at 4 o'clock, drive 30 minutes away to take my middle daughter to her gym. And basically I just have gotten behind this week, and we are also going to Orlando this weekend to go to a water park, which by the time this video comes out, we will have already been and done that. Hopefully we don't get rained on too much, but it is Florida and we know that can happen. So about the only thing that really got done this week was I set the seat back in my car and did just basically some looking at it. I was so tired Tuesday. Came in a little late on Tuesday, but was still just tired. And by the time really came to try to get any work done on my car, I spent all day back with Ricky out back working on both the NC as well as dynoing the Ford F-150. So that's been my week, and unfortunately no real progress on the Cutlass this week. Kind of a bummer. You know, been trying to keep chipping away on this thing. And I mean, I guess I did, you know, I put the seat back in it, but that really isn't all that much. But we'll have to get back on this thing for next week. I'll end up staying late Monday and Tuesday night. Ricky did want me to show you the firewall. Oh yeah. Him and Will worked on the firewall for Reno's car. Ooh, look at that. Ooh. That's pretty snazzy. Oh yeah. So that's black primer right now, and there's a couple little spots we've got to touch and feather in with some glazing putty, but looks way better than it did. And actually, since we did all this, we've decided we're gonna weld these up where the old steering bracket came through. So weld that up, weld that hole up, and then our plate here that's going to mount where our steering column comes through, it's going to be welded in. Like, we'll just weld around it instead of bolting that piece in, because it's kind of going to be shaped a little weird. It'll be two different thicknesses of material and a piece of tube sticking through, and we got a plan for it. But that's what's been going on with that car. And Ricky did get the shifter initially mounted in that. Eddie got a little bit of time on this, and I had a little bit of time on that Wednesday morning before we took them off to the airport. And in between all my running around with kids this week. But next week, we're going to get a bunch more bars in this thing. And next week, that will get certified, as well as that gets certified. And we have a couple more coming. Like, I think the lawn dart's supposed to come in for a certification. And if the tech official allows it, we will do maybe some talking with him on the on all of the you know, the inspection process. Maybe see if we can get that on video, which I think will be kind of cool. But yeah, that thing's, we got to obviously pop the dash back out, pop the seat out, take the engine out, at least for powder coating, because I've made a tentative appointment with the powder coating company for Wednesday. So inspected Monday, which actually Wednesday, that ain't gonna work. Isn't Wednesday is the 4th of July? Yep, so that ain't gonna work. So I guess it'll be Thursday. Even though the guy told me Wednesday, but he probably didn't realize it either. That's the kind of week it's been. But anyways, can't thank you guys enough for working through this with me. And not a video that I wanted to put out, kind of fail a little bit on this, but hopefully you guys understand that that's just the nature of the beast when you're a parent, especially when you're a single parent, or at least single parent half the time, you know, being divorced. But it is what it is. And now that it's right at 5 o'clock, it's time for me to leave and take my middle daughter to her gym again right now, because on Friday her gym classes start at 5:30. So thanks again for watching, subscribing, following along. We will see you guys next time.